Game day.
What's up, everybody in Chiefs Kingdom? We got a special guest on today. Got the Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
You know what? I'm okay. I'm not doing too bad. I read
Good.
part of your book, and that's what we're here to talk about, everybody. Christian's got his book out, and I met him in 1989 or 90 for the first time, and I know a lot about him, but I didn't know some of the stuff. And I got to tell you, um, it was eye opening to say the least. And I
Yeah.
mean, just the first, not even the foot. I mean, I know the football because I was there and I saw a lot of what you did, but the stuff from home is what got me the most.
Yeah.
From your home, I mean, that kind of really brings a lot of things into perspective. And I was pretty astounded, to be honest with you. The stuff you went through was amazing. I mean, and you're who you are today, and that part is unbelievable, in my opinion. Tell us a little
Well,
bit about it. Tell us what made you decide to write a book.
people that knew me started asking me that I should write a book. People that know my story, and they've been telling me this shoot right after I retired from football, and I've been kind of resistant because I didn't know where to start.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. I started with a guy in Kansas City, and he helped me write some of it. um, Put together something that after I read through it, I didn't really like it because it didn't capture the details of what my life was all about.
yeah.
So I found somebody else who, um, I liked very much. This guy, Greg Hanlon, he wrote Eric's book and he wrote a bunch of other sports personalities books. So I figured that he would be a good guy to go with. And he and I talked. We talked almost every day, and this book was born.
It's crazy, man. I mean, I got to tell you, there's a caption in there when you were young, and you and your 9-year-old brother went to visit your 14-year-old brother, and what you went through. I mean, just blows my mind. I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing that. Well, first of all, I don't want to give anything away about the book, but this part I do want to talk about really quick because it tells you how bad things were when they assumed that a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old are working for the government and your
yeah.
spies. I mean,
I,
that tells you a lot. So
well,
wow, I was blown away.
well, during war, they use everything they can use. I mean, when kids come along, they can use kids.
Yeah,
So I totally can understand that when they suspect kids
yeah,
walking in the middle of the night. So it's I can see how it's suspicious to them, and they did what they had to do.
yeah. I mean, I've heard stories. I've had relatives and people that I know really well that were in Iraq, and the stories that they had told me. But they were, soldiers, American soldiers there. It wasn't like you were with your own people, that assumed that you were a spy. Um, it's I don't know, it's mind boggling to me. But I mean, honestly, I haven't gotten a copy of the book yet. We talked about this, if you remember, on a show about it was before the book came out, and I actually ended up writing an article and put it out all over the internet because I wanted people
Yeah,
to get your book.
yeah,
Um, but I was pretty astounded by some of the things that went on. If people don't know, and if you're not old enough to remember, uh, Christian was very raw when he came into the NFL, and that's not a slight on him in any way. It was just a fact. And when I got to sit and I was lucky enough to sit there on the field and watch him practice, it was unbelievable. I mean, to say the least, what he could do. And I still tell people to this day that ask me about you, because everybody always asks me about the people that I knew back in the 90s.
yeah,
And I'd tell them, the first time I met him, or I actually got a visual of him. I was sitting next to Derek Thomas, and you came running out on the field, and you had this white cut off, it looked like what Armor All looks like now. I said, "Who the hell is that guy?" And Derek goes, "That's Christian." And I said, "My ass." And he goes, "No, really, it is." And I said, "There's no way that's the guy that ran a 4.47." And he goes, "Wait till he gets going." And you took off running, and I was like, "Oh my God, whoever he hits is going to get hurt." I mean, it's just going to get hurt, you know. But you were just a different guy, and that's what people I think don't realize about you is that you're a totally different person than you were on the field. And people ask me all the time, was he like really aggressive and mean? I said, hell no. I said, he was one of the nicest people you'd ever meet. And they said, really? And I said, yeah, he was like just an everyday guy, but nicer. I said, he's not like the people that you just run into that are, giants and portray that huge persona. I said, he was just a big, nice guy. And nobody would really believed it. They never thought that was true. But then, in your book, it portrays exactly what I would tell everybody for the last 30 years is that's who you were. You were just this nice guy, that unassuming guy, very humble guy that nobody really would think that could go out on a football field and do the things that you did and
Yeah.
then walk off the field and be just a normal everyday guy again. It was different. You were a different guy. So your book's been out since I think the 5th of November now, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
about a month.
about a month now, right? Is it doing
Yes.
pretty good? I mean, is it
Yeah.
how's it going?
From what I see, it's doing pretty good.
I've kind of looked it up, on certain, like Amazon's doing really well with it. I want people to really understand if you want to know and I had a couple of really quick questions too. So I know Tom Ali really well, and he's been on the show, and he's from Liberia. And I think
Yes.
people get a lot of this confused. They don't understand the difference between where you're from and where he's from. And it's strange because you think they would understand that, if they had any history knowledge. I understand that, a lot of people just don't follow it. But can you explain the difference between the two to people? Because I don't think they really get it.
Well, Liberia is it's a country of its own, and Nigeria is also a country of its own. Where Nigeria is in West Africa, and man, if I can get this correctly, I think Liberia is also in West Africa. But
You're right. It is. Yeah.
yeah, it's just separate countries, and but abroad, like in America, of course, we're brothers. Because
Yeah. Well, yeah.
we have similar cultures and everything. We actually speak alike. Our personalities and the way our mannerisms are very similar.
Yes.
Um, so it's we're all the same, I think.
Was there? And I didn't. And I know Tamba grew up. He's been very public about it, and he talked to me about it too. But he grew up very poor. Um, I don't know their situation as far as like war and everything that they went through compared to what you went through. But I know you went through a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, your childhood was. I mean, if anybody that grew up here had to grow up the way you did, I don't know if they. I don't know how many people could handle it. I really don't. That's not something that you just see every day.
Yeah.
So uh, I don't know what he went through as far as, and I don't know if they had war issues there. I really don't. I know they had internal, like civil style stuff, and you went through
Yeah.
civil war. But I was curious about that because I don't know I don't know the difference. I've never been there, so I don't know the difference between any of it,
The
to be
two
honest.
countries.
So
Yeah, I think it's similar. I think it's similar. Nigeria is probably a little more developed. Nigeria has more population. In Nigeria is a lot. We are nearing about 300 million people. You
Holy
know,
God.
Nigeria.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. The size of Nigeria is the size of Texas. You see, so and there's a lot going on in Nigeria. It's getting better and better every day.
That's a lot of
Um,
people in the state, like in a place the size of Texas, though.
yes, it's a lot of people. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It's got to be really crowded.
I tell people that Lagos is as big as Mexico City, New York, or even Tokyo, and have as many people in it. you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty insane. Now, tell people, people have asked me about it, and I already knew, but you love goat. That's one of your favorite things.
Yeah, we eat goat. Goat is one of our, you know, our go-to meat. Um, in America, people don't like goat that much. They like beef,
Yeah.
But in Nigeria, in Africa, I think goats are easier to raise than cows. You see,
Yeah.
if you go to a family might have like 4 or 5 goats, and the female just gives birth every now and then, and you have a steady supply of meat. And during Christmas they'll slaughter one,
Yeah.
because one for celebration and stuff, and sometimes even birthdays and things like that. So I think, yeah, the reason why we prefer goat more is because small families can raise their own. You
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
yeah, and
That,
chicken too.
yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I've never had goat. I've had lamb. I'm not a big lamb fan. I don't know if they're
it's
the same.
it's
Um,
similar.
and it may look. I only had it once, and kind of it's kind of crazy. Somebody, at a function. I think actually, weirdly enough, I think it was a Chiefs function back in the day, and somebody said, "Do you want lamb chops?" Okay, I never had them before,
Yeah,
and I wasn't a fan. Now it could have been the way it was cooked. I have no idea, but I just wasn't a fan of it. But then I eat other things that people don't like, so I know that I know how that is. I eat things that people think, why the hell would he ever eat that? But I do like, I mean, there's certain things that I like. Uh,
yeah.
but I understand now, goats, they are easier to raise.
Hmm.
In fact, in Kansas City back in the day, there was a neighbor of ours, and he had 4 of them in his yard, and it was just a normal area, and
Yeah.
we never understood why this guy had them. So one day I went out walking down Lexington Avenue as a little kid, and he was out in the backyard, and those goats were out there. I said, "Hey, can I ask you why you have those goats?" He goes, "Do you see any grass in my yard?" And I said, "Yeah, but it's really small, real short." He goes, "I don't cut my grass either." I said, "Oh." He said, "That's why I have them." I said, "Are you kidding?" He said, "Nope. I mean, from my childhood, every time I walked by, that's what was in this guy's yard was 4 goats."
Yeah.
And I never understood it. But that was when he finally told me. I thought, oh, okay, that makes sense. You don't have to cut your grass. I guess that's what you want to do.
That
um,
is,
it's crazy. Think about, but that's what he did. He was an older guy. I mean, he was at that time. Hell, he was in his late 60s, early 70s, and that's just how he always was. He had goats in his yard.
yeah.
Uh, so tell everybody where you can get this book at because that's huge. I mean, I want people to
Yeah.
buy this book. I'm
Yes.
still waiting on mine, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there. I
Okay.
still haven't gotten mine.
Where did you order? Did you order through Amazon? Because people can get it from Amazon.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
I did.
okay. Amazon, yes, you can get it from Amazon, or sometimes I tell people they can go to my website and get the copy. Now, my website is christianokoye.com, and there's a link there that leads you to the book page, and you can order it there.
Yeah. I actually put that in the article. If anybody goes, if you look at cheesefocus.com, I actually linked your article to it with your link to the book. And then I also put the Amazon link in there as well so people can decide where they wanted to, get it from. So
Yeah,
hopefully they buy it from you. Um, I know Amazon, they take their percentage. So I'd rather see you get it instead of them. That's for sure.
yeah,
But
definitely.
Man, look, I know you're busy, and I don't want to keep you on here all day. I'm just glad you got the book out and is doing well. Uh, I read Scott actually sent me a portion of it. He didn't send me
Okay.
the whole thing, and I got through about half of it. And with
Hmm.
everything that's going on, it's just been kind of crazy. But it's for anybody out there, it's extremely interesting if you guys really want to know the truth, because there is other books out there that were written about you, but they weren't
Yeah.
written by you, and
That's
that's
right.
people have to understand that people have their own perception of what they've heard in the past from someone else, and those
Exactly.
books may have not have gotten your input on anything. Who knows?
Yeah.
So,
I never given any permission to anybody to write a book about me. So this is the first one.
well, that's kind of crazy that I think there's like three out there that I've seen that were about you. I never read any of them, but because you didn't write it, and I know most of your story except for what I found out in your book, um, which is stuff you never really talked about a whole lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you never really brought a lot of that up. So,
Yeah.
for anybody that wants to know uh, how this man became who he is, you need to go out and get that book. I'm
Yes.
going to post a link at the bottom of the show. And again, I will repost the article and make sure it's out there. You can find it anywhere on any news channel that you want to find it on. But what else you want to tell us about this book, man? Before we get off here, what else you got?
Well, it's just exciting, to me, and everybody that I've read it, they tell me how much they loved it. And I have a lady in Kansas City, a friend of mine, who has bought. She keeps buying, this book, and she's giving it away to everybody she knew for Christmas. You know, tell them how great the read was. And you're right. Many people that know me, when they read the book, after they read the book, they'll tell me, "Man, I didn't know all that about you." I
Yeah.
said, "Well, why I wrote the book."
Yeah, exactly.
That's why.
It's funny because I knew your football career, I knew your college career. I mean, you told me some things back in the day, but never
Yeah.
did I know anything about your,
W-
prior life.
Well, usually when
So
you speak to people, you speak to them, for a few minutes and stuff. But when you write a book, they get to just read about you.
yeah,
They read
yeah,
about many things you never say in a short conversation.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's true. Um, are they going to? Real quick question: Are they going to put an audio version of this book out, or do you
Yes,
know?
audiobook is going to come out here in about a month and a half.
Good, good,
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
That's awesome. That's something that I ask because it's very strange that people have decided that reading is not fundamental and they would rather listen to it.
that's okay.
I mean,
That's
it kind of is what it is. So the audio version probably would blow up. I mean,
yeah.
just given
If
the
they
fact that
listen to
people.
it, it's still going in their brain. So
Exactly, exactly. Uh, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I mean, we're switching over. She's Focus is going to switch over to mainly audio articles because people just don't read like they used to.
hmm,
But I'm glad it's
yeah,
coming out in an audio version, and I think that'll boost everything for you too.
yeah.
Well, man,
Thank,
I know you're busy and you got your daughter coming home soon, and I don't want to
yeah,
keep you too long. But I am glad that you had the time to come on the show. And again, for everybody out there, when you listen to the show later on, make sure you go on and pick this book up. Go to christianokoye.com. Check it out on Chiefs Focus. If there's a page there, you can go to Amazon. I'm sure it's in a million other places, but it's definitely worth your while to pick up that book and read it. So, with that being said, really appreciate you coming on, man. I'm going to call you later on, and we'll talk about a little bit, and we'll see how it goes later on. But I can't wait until the audio version comes out, just specifically for you, mainly for you, not for everybody else, but for you, because that'll just push it really hard.
yeah.
Uh, we'll talk to you guys here pretty soon. Peace out.
All right, JB. Take